3 minutes. It's not perfect, okay, but at least you can give me A for effort. I did say 8:30. I showed up at 8:33. It may not be bullseye, but it's within the vicinity. So you know what I'm doing? I'm using the natural light from the window, and then I've splashed a little filter on the broadcast. Somebody says you're late, waiting. Well, the truth is I'm 3 minutes late. And somebody says, yeah, you're late. Even if you were a minute late, you'd be late. You guys, my Facebook, very demanding people. Yeah, Kuti, you're late. Hey, Bo, nice to see you. Joseph Chishimba from Solihull. Although Joseph has relocated, he's no longer in Solihull. I think he's in, where are you, Joseph? Are you in Birmingham or something like that? Somebody says you're frozen. Am I? Am I frozen? Tell me. Tell me in the comments if I'm frozen. Watching you from Queensland, Australia. Watching from, where is that? Kazungula. Please tell me in the comments if this broadcast is clear. You're always late, even, even for the chopper. Stop complaining. Morning from Windhoek. Thank you. Watching you from, where is that? Nangoma. Watching you from Birmingham. Watching you live from KwaZulu Natal. Stacy. Hey, Stacy Beamer. So nice to see you. Stacy Beamer is one of our TikTok audience members. She's very kind, always. Thank you, Stacy. Victor. Thank you, Victor. Loud and clear. I'm very happy. I'm not sure, Joseph, I'm not sure why I was frozen on your thing, but I hope this is not frozen and we're loud and clear. Guys, it's a beautiful Monday morning. It's Monday, the 28th of October. It rained last night, and very thankfully it did. And, you know, that's a good thing. And it's a little, what time is it? I'll tell you the time now. It's exactly 8:35 in the AM. And there are a couple of things I want to talk to you about that I think are important. As many of you know, today marks the 10th memorial or the 10th anniversary of late President Sata's demise. For some of you that may not know who Sata was, he served in this country, many different portfolios. He was once governor of Lusaka, and he ultimately became the president. I'll get it right in a moment. He ultimately became the president of Zambia. He served as the 5th president. Unfortunately, he passed away in the middle of his service. And over his political career, Sata did several things that were quite notable. And I find it so curious. I find it so interesting that we have an administration in the UPND under the leadership of Hakainde Hichilema, who has decided to make Sata one of the 7 points of light in our nation. You know, we've had 7 presidents. Sata served as 5th. But this administration under HH has decided to highlight Sata as one of the 7 points of light. And giving him this honor is unprecedented. I mean, it's unheard of. And it really speaks to the type of leadership that we currently have, that this president would be so magnanimous as to make this not only a priority, but an event. You know, the state has been involved in commemorating and recognizing and highlighting the significant contributions that Sata made, albeit the PF under Sata and HH weren't the best of friends. But regardless of that, this administration has still decided to make Sata's legacy one of the 7 points of light. And I think that's commendable. So here it is. And there's a lot of hodgepodge going on in terms of the murkiness of who does what and where and all that stuff. But let me tell you this. Today, at the Cathedral of the Holy Cross, the president and many other, the mayor, different members of cabinet, different members of society, the former first ladies, the former vice presidents are going to gather today to commemorate the 10th anniversary of Sata's demise. And along with that comes the complexity of the PF, in a sense, revolting against the state taking center stage of this ceremony. While Lungu he's offended with his group. Walungu, Wagiven Lubinda, Abena Rafael Hajaka, Nakachinda, that vagabond, those band of crooks, along with Vaisiel, not that Vaisiel is a crook, I'm saying Abena Nakachinda and all those chaps, they are diametrically opposed to the state taking center stage in recognizing Sata's contribution to this country. They're upset. They're saying, no, the state can't take over this ceremony. We are going to memorialize Sata in our way, at our venue. So what they have decided to do, last night, Rafael Nakachinda was trying to convince the Sata family. I mean, he was frantically making phone calls, moving, zipping in and out of suburbs, trying to organize, trying to galvanize the Sata family to attend the PF memorial service, which will not be held at the cathedral. The PF one will be held at the, what is it called? Tell me in the comments. I always mix it up. I'm not Catholic, so I always mix the words up. So basically the PF are holding their own memorial service at you'll tell me here in a moment, at the place. I don't want to say the wrong thing. You'll tell me in a moment. Somebody will tell me. Come on, guys. Let's do it quickly. Tell me where it is. Pope Square. There you go. Thank you. Who is that? Albert Kasuba. The PF, the NPF, the Notorious Patriotic Front, under the leadership of EDGAR Lungu and his band of brothers, they've decided to break rank and say, no, if we don't want to be part of that state function at the Cathedral of the Holy Cross, where Lungu has been invited, even though Lungu has made it clear, Kuti, he has not received any communique, he has not received any invitation that sort of shows that he's supposed to be part of the ceremony at the Cathedral of the Holy Cross, which is not true. Lungu is being untruthful when he says that, because his name is clearly on that program. It's there. Both Lungu and the former First Lady's names appear on the program. So it doesn't make sense for Lungu to claim that he has not received any type of communication from the state inviting him to the function at the Cathedral of the Holy Cross. Unfortunately, Lungu is being less than truthful. You are being less than truthful when you say, no, me, I have not been invited. I don't even know where the thing is going to be. No, you know exactly where it's going to be. You know good and well that you've been invited, but you have chosen to stay away because you're trying to save face. So what Rafael and Given Lubinda did last night was they mobilized themselves and coerced Pope Square to allow them to hold their own version of this function, which is fine, to be honest with you. I mean, there's nothing that's carved in stone that says, no, Asata's state funeral should be held here and there. No. you do it wherever the heck you want to do it. You know, if you want to do it in your backyard, do it. If you want to do it whoever and wherever. The only thing, though, is that the NPF leadership under by EDGAR feel aggrieved because they feel the show has been taken away from them. They want to be front and center of this issue, which rightfully, that's okay. But the problem is that it has been highly politicized. They don't want to give the state any type of credit by attending the function at the Cathedral of the Holy Cross. That to the PF, to the NPF, would show and indicate to its members that they have succumbed and that they are showing some type of weakness by agreeing to attend a state function. It is political stubbornness. That's what it is. So Lungu has decided, no, if it Pope Square. Now here's the problem with that. At Pope Square, as you know, there are 3 factions in the NPF, and each faction is called the NPF. There's Lungu's faction, the Notorious Patriotic Front. There's Miles Sampa's faction, the New Patriotic Front. And then there's Chabinga's faction, the Novice Patriotic Front. Miles Sampa will not attend Pope Square because not only will he be sidelined, he will be threatened and he will be ignored. And everybody knows that on paper, legally, from a legal standpoint, Miles Sampa, for all intent and purposes, rightly or wrongly, unfortunately, that chap is the legitimate paper legal president of that thing called PF on paper. But in terms of grassroots support, in terms of the base of the NPF, Miles does not have that support. If Miles shows up at that Pope Square with EDGAR Lungu there, my goodness, Balam Chitakand. And he knows it. Miles knows good and hell well that if he shows up at Pope Square, he's going to be threatened, sidelined, and at best, he's going to be ignored. Now, if you are the president of a party legitimately on paper, and you attend the memorial service of the founding father of that party, who also happens to be your uncle, and then you are sidelined and ignored, how embarrassing is that to you and your supporters? It is extremely embarrassing. So Miles is going to save face by staying away. He will not subject himself to that level of embarrassment. So he'll stay away. So effectively, Miles also cannot attend the Cathedral of the Holy Cross function because it will send the wrong message. The issue here is that the family, the Sata family, who are also on the program, who do you think they'll go to? Which function do you think they'll attend? Do you think they'll attend the function of Abena Given Luminda and Abena ECL when their names are on the program for the state function? State organized function. Who do you think they're going to go to? Which function? Tell me in the comments below. Which function, which memorial service will the Sata family attend? Will it be the one at the Cathedral of the Holy Cross, where HH will be? Or will it be the one at Pope Square, where EDGAR Lungu will be? You tell me. Tell me. And you see, the family's role, the family's role in this memorial service is very key. It's very, very key. You cannot, this is the reason, Mailo, Ushiku, up until the late hours, Nakachinda was begging the Sata family to attend the Pope Square function, trying to justify that, no, you should come to this one because this is the real green. So chawa matuchita jo. It is prudent. It is prudent for the Sata family to attend the function that is recognized by the state, not by those chaps at Pope Square. That is political irresponsibility. And it should not be like that. That is my view. I don't know what your view is. But anyway, let me go into the reason I've sort of wanted to do this podcast. I was watching very keenly. I was listening to Emmanuel Mwamba's podcast, which I must confess is a very good podcast. The only thing, and we're all susceptible to this, myself included. You know, when you watch other interviewers do their thing, because, you know, especially when you regard yourself as an interviewer as well, you watch other people do it so that you can, you know, sharpen your craft. I was watching Emmanuel and I noticed he does something. I'm guilty of this. I'm guilty of it as well. And we have to improve. Oprah Winfrey once said the mark of a great interviewer is a listener. Mwamba kept on interjecting. But they ran about Lungu. And it's interject. And they post some with you. If you push a question, if you ask your guest a question, allow them to answer it. Do not interject. I've done it myself, and it's wrong. You know, I'm improving on that, or at least I want to. But listening to Lungu talking with Mwamba last night, I kept on saying, Mwamba, can you just allow him to talk? Eh? Don't clarify what he said. He can talk on his own. He doesn't need you to clarify. Anyway, did any of you feel that way? Tell me in the comments if you picked up that vibe as well. Notwithstanding, it was still a very good interview. And notwithstanding, Emmanuel Mwamba's podcast is a very good podcast. Very interesting podcast. I watch it all the time. So there are several things that by ECL said during the podcast, during his interview with Emmanuel Mwamba. And this is the reason it's important when people talk. You know, the great Maya Angelou used to say that when people show you who they are, believe them. And it's only when people talk, the more you allow people to speak and just let them talk, eventually you'll get to the spirit of who they are. You know, when you shield people from speaking, when you block people from talking, you don't have a clear view of who they are. But when they talk, their soul is revealed. And listening to Lungu, yesterday's interview with Emmanuel Mwamba was very revealing. Extremely revealing. And I will tell you, there were lots of things that he said, but I want to share with you why Sata trusted Lungu. Now, this is not a secret, but watching the interview, listening to what Lungu said, it becomes very apparent, it becomes very clear why Sata trusted this man. If you look at Lungu's political career, all throughout his political career, Lungu was a reluctant participant in the grand scheme of politics. The reason Mr. Sata trusted Lungu was because and I have to say it this way, I'm sorry it's going to come across as sort of bad, but it's the truth. The reason, and this is the only reason why Sata trusted Lungu, it's because he was the least ambitious. Sata trusted EDGAR Lungu because Lungu was the least ambitious. Sata knew, and unfortunately, this is something that I think African leaders do. African leaders do not want someone that is so overly ambitious that they lose focus of their role and they concentrate on taking over from you. You never want a vice president that is so ambitious, that is so overtly ambitious that they will do anything and everything to take your place, and they want to see you moved from that position as president so that they can take over. The reason why Sata chose Lungu or trusted Lungu was because Lungu was the least ambitious. He was the least threat. Now, that's one side, sorry, that's two sides of a bad coin. That can go either way. We want leaders that are intentional. This is the reason when Lungu was asked, what is your vision for the country? He very openly said, I don't have any. Lungu's explanation, if you listen to that interview, his explanation was, no, Sata had a roadmap. I was just along for the ride. I was just going along with what Sata had done. While that may be a clever answer, that is not leadership. Leadership has to be intentional, it has to be clear, it has to be distinct. You cannot say, no, me, I'm just here for the ride. I'm just, wherever it's going, that's where we're going. No, that's not leadership. So my view in listening to Lungu is that he was a man that really didn't want friction. He just didn't want, you know, he didn't want to haggle for anything. You know, he had this approach of, well, you know what, just let it be. If that's the way it's going to be, let it be. However, let me say this. He changed after he became president. When he tasted the nectar of the presidency, he was no longer like that. Let me say that again and tell me in the comments if that makes any sense to you. While Lungu, prior to becoming the president, had this aura of humility. The moment he tasted the presidency, he lost it. Now he no longer has that spirit of, oh, just let it go. Now he wants to regain power by any means necessary. That's what I feel. He changed when he became the president. And that's what it does. The presidency changes you. It reveals more of who you are, I think. So today, whatever happens, it's going to be drama. Doesn't matter where you go today, it's going to be drama. That's what I wanted to share with you. Have a good day.